4,000 years ago, something impossible happened, and nobody can explain it. The Great Pyramid of Giza, a mountain of stone, 2.3 million blocks, each weighing as much as a car, stacked with precision that baffles engineers today. No cranes, no computers, just human hands hauling limestone under a scorching sun. How do they do it? Some say ramps, others whisper of a lost technology. A few even whisper aliens. But one thing is certain, building pyramids took incredible labor. Thousands of people toiling for decades, moving stones heavier than anything we live today without machines. Now, why would anyone obey such a grueling command? I've always wondered that. What drove those workers to dedicate their lives stacking stones for a pharaoh? Like, was it loyalty? Was it fear? Was it something deeper? Maybe something wired into their very minds. And there is a theory that I've recently discovered, and it's a very strange theory. It's called the bicameral mind. And it might explain not just the pyramids, but us today. What if the ancient Egyptians weren't choosing to build? What if they were compelled? Now here's the twist. What if we're not so different today? So they heard voices, and not just metaphors, actual voices, and they obeyed without question. Now, let me explain. In 1976, this psychologist named Julian Jaynes dropped a bombshell. His book, The Origin of Consciousness, is the breakdown of the bicameral mind. It proposed something wild. Ancient humans didn't think like we do. Their minds were split, bicameral. One half acted and the other spoke. Imagine this. Your right brain silent, issuing commands like a god, and your left brain obedient, following without question. Voices in your head, clear as a bell, telling you what to do. Now, Jaynes argued that 4,000 years ago, humans heard these voices and believed that they were gods, pharaohs, priests, kings. They were the mouthpieces. When a pharaoh said, "Build me a pyramid," it wasn't just a command, it was divine. So picture this, thousands of workers hearing the voice of Osiris or Ra, hauling stones, not because they wanted to, but because their brains left them no choice. And I can't help but wonder, what would it feel like to hear a god in your head, to act without doubt? Now here's the thing. Jaynes also said that this mind wasn't just ancient history. It still whispers to us today. And the pyramids, they're proof that it worked. But what happens when the gods go silent? So the voices faded, but did they ever truly stop? So Jaynes believed that the bicameral mind started to break down around 1000 BCE. As societies grew complex, writing spread, and people began to question the voices. And consciousness, as we know it, was born. Instead of gods, we developed an inner voice, our conscience. We started thinking for ourselves, or so we tell ourselves. But let's pause for a minute. Let's look at those pyramids again. Those workers didn't question. They acted blindly, mechanically, like cogs in a divine machine. But what if that machine never actually stopped running? You know, I've been thinking about this so much these last couple of months. We'd like to believe that we're free thinkers, individuals with controls over our lives. But are we really? The ancient Egyptians built monuments to their gods. What are we building today, and who is giving the order? So, if you think about it, society, it isn't just a system, it's actually a voice, and it's louder than you think. Now, fast forward to 2025, there are no pharaohs, no temples, but the voices, I kind of think that they are still there. We don't call them gods anymore, we call them expectations, culture, society. Like, think about this. You wake up at 6 a.m. Why? Because your job demands it. You sit in traffic, work 8 hours, go home exhausted. Why? Because it's the norm. It's normal. You chase promotions, buy things you don't mean, scroll feeds that shape your thoughts. Why? Because society says so. I've caught myself doing it, grinding through a day, following routines I never chose, and it feels automatic. Like I'm obeying a signal I can't quite hear. The bicameral mind isn't gone. It's just changed its mask. Instead of Ra or Osiris, the voices come from billboards, algorithms, influencers. They tell us to work, consume, conform. We listen. And here's where the rabbit hole really twists. What if we're not just obeying society? What if we're programmed? Look, I get it. Nobody wants to believe it, but what if our reality isn't real? In 2003, philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed a chilling idea. We might be living in a simulation, a computer program so advanced it feels like reality. Now, it sounds crazy, right? But hear me out. If the bicameral mind made ancient humans obey divine voices, what if our modern minds are still following code? Not gods, not society, but a system designed to keep us running. So consider this. Social media algorithms predict your clicks before you make them. AI tracks your location, your habits, your heartbeat through your phone. Neuralink brain chips tested in 2024 can control devices with thoughts alone. And I keep asking myself, are we choosing our lives or are we scripted? The simulation hypothesis, it sort of says that we're players in a game that we didn't design. Every job you hate, every routine you follow, could it be code written by someone or something else? Maybe. And here's the shadow lurking in the corner. If we're in a simulation, who's running it? So the pyramids weren't just tombs. They were signals. But who is sending the signals right now? Let's go deeper. The pharaohs commanded thousands to build monuments that still stand. Today, a handful of tech giants, Google, Meta, Amazon, shape how billions think. They don't need stone, they have data. In 2023, whistleblower Frances Haugen revealed how Facebook's algorithms amplify division to keep us hooked. Every like, every scroll feeds the machine. And it's not just social media. Smartwatches track your pulse, your sleep, your stress. Job algorithms decide who gets hired or fired. AI models like Grok analyze your words, your questions, your life. I'm starting to wonder, are we just building digital pyramids? Invisible structures of control, coded by unseen architects. The World Economic Forum talks of an augmented society by 2030, wearables, implants, AI merging with our bodies. It all sounds kind of convenient. But what if it's all just a leash? And here's the twist. What if the simulation isn't new? What if the pharaohs were just a beta test? Numbers don't lie, but they do sort of whisper secrets. And the bicameral mind, the pyramids, the simulation, they're all connected by patterns, symbols, numbers. Now notice this. The Great Pyramid's base is 756 feet per side, multiplied by 4 sides, 3,024 feet. Add the digits, 3024 equals 9. A number of completion in ancient mysticism. The pyramid's height, 481 feet, aligns with sacred ratios used in temples worldwide. And today, AI neural networks often use 8 or 16 layers, numbers tied to balance and infinity in esoteric traditions. Is this a coincidence? I don't know, maybe, but it keeps circling back to this. The pyramids were more than just tombs. They were antennas, broadcasting the pharaoh's divine signal to a bicameral world. And today, our phones, our feeds, our implants, are they just broadcasting a new signal, a modern code of some kind, keeping us obedient, distracted, controlled? I don't know, but the patterns keep appearing, and the rabbit hole, it just gets darker. Who is writing the code, and what do they want? Like I said, 4,000 years ago, they built pyramids. What will we leave behind? Let's imagine 4025 AD, future humans looking back at us. Will they see us as we see the Egyptians, blindly following voices, stacking stones in a system we didn't understand? Right now we're building something. It's not pyramids, obviously, but networks, algorithms, a digital world that tracks every step, every thought, and Neuralink's trials are expanding. By 2026, they aim to implant thousands. And it's not just for health reasons, for augmentation. Now, the World Economic Forum predicts a transhuman future where minds and machines merge. That sounds kind of exciting. Sure, I'm a tech geek, but I can't shake this feeling. What if we're not upgrading? What if we're just tightening the signal's grip? The bicameral mind made us obey gods. As society made us obey routines, you have to start wonder, what will AI make us obey? And here's the final twist. Maybe we're not in a simulation. Maybe we are the simulation. Our minds, our lives coded to serve a system we can't see. So what connects the pyramids, the bicameral mind theory, and the world we're building right now? Well, that shouldn't be some kind of a connection here, but there sort of does. Let's tie it all together. 4,000 years ago, voices in the head drove humans to build wonders. The bicameral mind turned people into tools of the divine. And today we call ourselves free, but society's voice, amplified by AI, data, and algorithms, keeps us working, consuming, and obeying. The pyramids were stone. Our prisons are digital. Now, I've spent hours down this rabbit hole wondering, are we really awake, or are we still just hearing the signal, just in a new form? Now, the simulation hypothesis, Neuralink, the World Economic Forum, they're all clues, like pieces of a puzzle. But the problem is we're too busy to solve these problems. But here's the thing. If the signal only works if we listen, what if we stop? What if we question the voices, past, present, and future? That's worth thinking about. Thank you for following me down this rabbit hole. If this made you think, hit that like button. It helps others find the signal. The video. Subscribe to keep chasing the truth. Until next time, stay curious, relentless, and most of all, stay human. Because the system isn't just coming for your time, it's coming for your mind. Bye.